On today's episode of Aqua Kids,
It's all about kids who make a difference.
so, ready to make a difference?
Building a better planet starts with you. Aqua Kids, traveling around the world, going where we've never been before, having fun and so much more, learning from our friends of the sea, saving them is up to you and me. Aqua Kids.
Hey everyone at home, and welcome to another exciting episode of Aqua Kids. I'm Katie.
And I'm Drew. Today is a very special edition of Aqua Kids called Kids Making a Difference.
That's right, Drew. In mid-December, I had the opportunity to interview the winners of the National Siemens Competition, a competition focused on science, technology, engineering, and math.
High school students worked in teams or individually to create projects that interested them.
From increasing plant resistance to discovering new medicines, the work these high school students are doing is amazing and inspiring.
That's right, Katie. Let's head to the competition and check it out.
All right. The Siemens Competition is a competition for high school students focused on math, science, and technology. Students are challenged to work in either teams or individually to conduct scientific research that will in some way better society. Winners of the competition receive scholarships from $10,000 to $100,000.
The Siemens Competition looks like a great way for students to develop their interest in STEM fields.
You're right. Don't go away. When Aqua Kids comes back, we talk to the CEO in charge of it all. Welcome back to Aqua Kids.
We're headed back to the Siemens Competition in Washington, D.C. to speak with the CEO of the company.
Well, congratulations on another successful completion of the Siemens Competition. What did you think of the presentations today?
Well, the presentations were absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this is actually the first competition that I've been a part of. I'm fairly new on board at the Siemens Foundation, but I've known about the competition and I've known that the bar was extremely high. Even given that, I was really blown away. I mean, it's the level of intellect of these kids that strikes you, obviously, but it's the passion that they come at this research with which really drives the point home. I mean, these folks are really bringing forward graduate level research in science, math, and technology, and even the judges at these institutions that we're working with are pretty much floored by what's coming forward.
I'm sure. I mean, the work these students are doing is just absolutely fantastic. But running this competition is obviously a huge commitment. What does Siemens hope to get out of the competition? What is their goal in running it?
Yeah, you know, there are really two key reasons why we run this competition. And again, it's gone back to 1998 that we've been running this. The first one, frankly, just comes out of the culture of the company. It's a huge company that's really driven by STEM education and the innovation that comes out of that. 400,000 employees worldwide, 60,000 in the US. And when you talk to folks, you find a ton of enthusiasm, right, about what's coming forward. I mean, these are low emission products. These are healthcare products, high-speed trains, light rail, you name it. Folks have seen what it's done in their lives and they see what it's done for society, and our employees are just tickled to death about this competition, and what flows from that really is the sense of responsibility, I guess, to ensure that that kind of commitment to STEM education continues in this country. And to be candid, we've got a long ways to go in the United States to make sure that we get the wheels back on track, as it were, for STEM education. We're falling behind the top, in that cluster of the top 50 countries in the world, and so we're committed to being a part of the solution to that.
That's absolutely amazing. And so what does being a Siemens Competition finalist or winner mean for these emerging leaders and these students?
Yeah, we use the term game changer a lot in this society, but the fact of the matter is it's an absolute game changer for these young men and women. For starters, there's a scholarship prize for the top winners of $100,000 for the team and $100,000 for the individual. And that's a great scholarship opportunity for starters, but it also means that there's a tremendous endorsement that goes along with that. This is, being a Siemens winner is something that will appear on applications and on resumes really for the rest of their life. And that means that they will end up at elite schools. It means that elite schools will heavily recruit them. Some of them will join us to ring the bell at the New York Stock Exchange in a month or so. Others have appeared at the White House Science Fair. You name it, this thing opens up doors, as it should.
Wow, it is really very empowering to see that normal high school students can make such a big impact and that they can make a difference, not only in the world of science, technology, engineering, and math, but also just in society in general.
Yeah, I think you're making a great point when you say that. I mean, one of the things that has surprised me, and it's a wonderful surprise, is the fact that these kids are not just coming focused on math, science, or technology. Most of the time, it's really a cross-disciplinary approach in the sciences. But even beyond that, it's a very Renaissance group that was assembled here. I mean, these are kids that are going back to choir concerts, soccer tournaments, and a whole host of other opportunities here. They are not one-dimensional. And while we know many of these folks will end up in prestigious research institutions across the country and around the world, many of them will also be leaders, across the board in more generic, if you will, strategy occupations in business, industry, and government as well, as they should.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I think you provide some great insight as to why Siemens runs this competition and really how successful this competition is.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us on.
It seems like Siemens is very dedicated to helping students find their love for science, technology, engineering, and math.
They sure are. Stick around. When we return, we get to meet the winners of the competition. Welcome back to Aqua Kids.
Let's go meet up with the winners of the Siemens competition.
All right. In their study, the girls found a copy number of a gene that can make important crops more resistant to forms of environmental stressors such as droughts and high salinity in soils. Well, first off, I want to say congratulations to all of you for winning the Siemens team competition this year. What an amazing accomplishment. What does it feel like to know that your hard work has finally paid off?
Well, it's definitely, we feel really happy and excited that we worked for so long and now, yeah, we finally got something out of it.
Can you tell me a little about what your project entailed?
Yeah, our project, what we did is we characterized a gene that could potentially help protect plants against environmental stress, such as ozone or high salt concentrations, drought, or pathogen attacks.
And why is increasing this crop resistance so important?
Well, what people don't realize is that globally, every year, there are billions of dollars of crop loss due to ozone alone, not to mention the other stresses that we haven't taken into account.
You must have had to put a lot of time and effort into this project to make it this far. So what type of work went into making your initial idea become a reality?
Well, we had started reading a lot of academic journals, and since we were working on a budget, we had to decide what was really important for us and what was necessary for the project. So we carefully planned each step, and we did our project accordingly, and it's very rewarding.
What was it like working as a team to come to such an amazing goal?
It's definitely less stressful, at least I think, to work in a team because each of us can have an area that we specialize in, and yeah, and then we come together and it's a lot easier to work that way.
We all bring different strengths to the table, like writing or organization and etc.
And we were all friends beforehand, before we even started this project.
Right, but research
So-
definitely brought us a lot closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was easier to work together with people that we already knew.
Why do you think it is important for students to get involved in both research and innovation and science and math?
I think it's important because, I think it's important that students should be interested in STEM research, like engineering, math, and science, because these studies can be applied to the real world to ameliorate society. We can better society by through our findings. So it actually helps society in a way.
So now that you have completed the competition, what do you hope to do next?
Well, right now we're all looking at colleges. We're definitely planning on continuing our research in college, and hopefully still as a team, because we've gotten really close over the past years, and working without them is just really hard to imagine.
Well, congratulations again on winning. Your work is just absolutely amazing. I'm jealous, but really, good work and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, first off, congratulations on mentoring yet another team through the national finals. So now you've had two teams not only progress to the national finals, but win them. What is your strategy?
Torture. I think one of the success of my reason why my students have been successful is the ownership of their project. I do not give them a project. They originate the project, they develop it, and they spend many years. The group spend at least 3 years working on their project. So it's their project, not mine. I just make sure that try to prevent any obstacles, reduce any obstacles in their path.
Well, that's amazing. And for you to be involved in a project of this magnitude, I'm sure you also have had to put in a lot of time and effort. Why do you think it is so important that kids continue to participate in competitions like this?
Well, the competitions allow them to share their results, their findings with everyone else. It also it allows them to explain it. It allows them to also understand what is available, what is currently some of the issues with today's society, and how they can improve on it. So the competitions offer them a level of challenge that you would not find in a typical high school class.
I'm sure. And what is the top piece of advice you'd give students today to encourage them to pursue research or a career in STEM jobs?
As I always tell my students, it's not what you study, it's how well you study it. When my students come in my class, they find plants to be insufferable. I think part of it is to show them the grandeur, the majesty of working with plants. So as I go, it's not what you study, it's how well you do it. And they were limited to what they could study, namely plants. And they made the best of it with a limited budget. So you don't have to be in a very expensive lab or have a major budget. You can do it on a shoestring budget.
Right, and I think that's a really good point because it shows that anyone, high school students included, can make a difference.
Yes, I think the total cost of their project is about $500 if you wanted to put a monetary value on it, because I could tell you exactly what they ordered and so on. I have many kids in my class, and I'm part of my role is to oversee how much they're spending and what we can buy and what we cannot. So the total value for their project is $500 approximately.
That's incredible. And because you have had another team win the national finals, how have you seen students grow as a result of the Siemens competition?
I think in America today there is a big emphasis on the Common Core curriculum and stressing, that much of our students are sort of devoid of the aptitude necessary to do well. Well, I think my research program predates the Common Core, and it's been shown. And what I do with my students is the very embodiment of the Common Core. And I don't want to go into all of that, but it just shows that I think with research you see everything that we look towards what the best of a student ought to be. And I think having the right questions, asking the right questions, and be able to have the techniques, the skills to develop and answer it. I think it's not just for science, but anything that you would want to, any aspect of life that you would want to address.
Well, again, thank you so much. That was very insightful. And again, it really does show that normal high school students, kids who have an everyday life, they can be involved in such research and they can make a difference. They can research things that have tremendous value and make a difference in society.
Thank you. I want to also say that the Siemens Foundation has always, I want to make sure the Siemens Foundation has been very good at providing resources for students. I was given the opportunity to attend Oak Ridge Laboratory, and there are so many public free available data and so on provided. I think I was able to bring back to all of those things to my high school, and that's one of the reasons after I came back we've been doing so well. The Siemens Competition, the Siemens Foundation perpetuates itself by not just helping the students but also the teachers. So I've been, if you ever looked at records from George W. Hewlett High School, we typically have semi-finalists until in 2010, and then we start having finalists and national finalists. So, and I think that comes directly from me understanding all the different sort of resources I could bring back to the school. And I would like to thank the Siemens Foundation for that, giving me the opportunity to find out where those resources are.
Absolutely. And having the best resources available always makes a big difference on your final product and what you are able to bring to the table. That's a very important point that you made. So thank you again, and congratulations on winning the national finals. You must be so proud.
I am, thank you.
It was great to see that students created projects that can positively impact our environment.
Yeah, don't go away. Aqua Kids will be back in a minute. We're back.
Let's go meet up with the top individual winner of the Siemens competition. For his project, Eric used computer modeling combined with biological studies to speed up the discovery of a new anti-flu medicine. Moreover, Eric identified potent inhibitors, which have the potential to be developed into new anti-flu drugs that will help prepare for pandemic outbreaks and save lives. Well, Eric, congratulations on being the top individual winner at today's competition. How do you feel?
I'm really surprised, and I'm of course really happy, but the work of the other individual finalists was truly incredible, inspiring, and that mine was chosen was really an honor.
That's very humble of you. Can you tell me a bit about your project specifically?
Alright, so what I did for my project was I used computers in order to speed up the discovery of new flu medicine.
Wow, so why do you think it is so important for high school students like you to be involved in research in these areas?
Well, I feel like a lot of the times education is going towards less hands-on science and more textbook reading and lectures, and I feel like letting these kids into these research opportunities where they can do real science, make discoveries that no one else has ever made, I think that's really important for encouraging them to go into these real scientific fields. And it also lets them see that, well, many times these high school students, they're scared off by scientific professionals. They're like, oh, I'll never be that white figure in the lab coat, the figure in the white lab coat. And working in this research lab has let me see that these people are normal people too.
That's right. And so how did you come up with this topic to begin with?
Well, so back in 2009, we had the H1N1 swine flu pandemic. And I remember being confused because I was 13 years old, and before that I'd only thought of flu as kind of harmless. It's this virus, if I catch it, I'll be in bed for a few days. And now it's causing so much mayhem, it's killing so many people. And since then I've seen flu pop up all over the news. You have H5N1, H7N9, that could cause a pandemic any day now. And so I saw this urgent situation, and yet knew there were so many misconceptions about how harmless flu is, and that's what really got me started on this project.
Well, that's amazing. And working on this project for so long, I'm sure you've learned a million things, but what is the biggest thing you will take away from the Siemens competition?
I think what I will take from this is just, I've learned how much impact you can have from just doing science. Here I am, I'm a high school student, and I'm able to do research that has the ability to impact millions of lives. And no matter what fields of research you choose to work in, whether it's cleaning the climate, a more sustainable energy source, all of that can impact every single one of our lives.
Absolutely. That is some really great insight. And so with all of this knowledge and with all this information that you have learned, what is your hope for the future?
So I hope to kind of develop my project further and hopefully, well, what I found is a number of influenza drug leads. And I want to develop those into real flu medicine. And I wanted to reach the market and be saving lives.
Well, that is very inspiring. Thank you for your time and congratulations on being the top individual winner. Your work has inspired me and I'm sure it has inspired many other people as well.
Thank you, it was my pleasure.
Well, we're out of time for today's episode of Aqua Kids, but it was amazing to see the work that these high school students are doing.
I know, Drew. I'm envious. The research these students are conducting in science, technology, engineering, and math can actually save our environment and human lives.
It's so great to see that kids just like us can make such a big difference.
They have certainly helped me to remember that everyone can do their part to keep our planet green and blue.
And so can you.
So visit our website to follow us on our journey.
And learn how you can come along with us.
So together we can keep the world
And the water.
a great place to play and explore
And we'll see you next time
on Aqua Kids.